What up, my big tea sipping dogs? We got us a special one today. It is so bizarre what Barcia said on the podium after this takeout. Like, he basically just admitted that he was going to be Bam Bam Barcia this whole time. And he said something along the lines of like, this is just me. And this is how I've been this whole time, or this is how I've always been, or something like that. It was really fucking weird. Did any of you other guys notice that? It was kind of like, okay, Barcia, do you think we just selectively don't remember, like, I don't know, 2 years ago when you were like, oh, I'm trying to change my image, and, oh, I'm trying to be this more clean racer. I'm trying to lose the Bam Bam name and all this type of shit, and that's not really how I race anymore, bro. Something's up here, and I don't know what the fuck. I don't know, Barcia was just caught off guard in that interview, and he like accidentally kind of said that. I don't know what the deal was, but I think it was like this weird like a fuck the world sort of response, almost like a drawing a line in the sand of like, if you don't back me in every sort of aggressive pass that I make, then you're not a fan of me. Like, fuck you. That's kind of the way I took it, right? All I'm saying is, Barcia, you better be careful, dog. Like, I think you might have lost some fans right there. I mean, obviously we're, people that are Barcia, real hardcore Barcia fans are obviously into Barcia because of the Bam Bam shit and because of all that. But you gotta pick a side. I mean, Barcia, you gotta pick like a fucking, either you're gonna be that guy or you're not gonna be that guy, you know? And I guess you have picked that at this point. I don't know, but like it's getting to be pretty confusing at this point. I'm like, is Barcia trying to change his ways, or is he not trying to change his ways? And I don't know. But anyways, Barcia ended up getting a 10-point penalty after that situation. So it ended up pushing him back back to like 5th in the overall championship points. So he probably lost some bonus money or whatever for that in itself. So it definitely cost Barcia quite a bit. And I do think he actually got a fine for that as well. So there was a little bit of extra information that came out after that. So, but all I'm going to say about it, though, is it just is interesting, though, how wouldn't it be easy for Malcolm Stewart to, like, every time that he thinks some aggressive rider is going to try to make an aggressive pass on him, just think about this possible scenario. Like, and I like Malcolm, and hell, I even like Barcia. I like all these dudes. I don't really have anything against them personally, right? But it's just the possibility of, boy, isn't it interesting, Malcolm Stewart being an aggressive rider himself, and I'm pretty sure he got talked to or got put on probation or whatever, along with Jason Anderson back there, right? Or it might have been with Barcia. I can't even remember at this point. But these three boys, right? I think that I just think of that possibility of Malcolm Stewart potentially like purposely taking the furthest inside line he knows he possibly can when he knows he's about to be passed by an aggressive rider. So then it makes it look like the person that was passing him purposely T-boned and took him down, and then they couldn't possibly, be against Malcolm Stewart at that point. And then they're going to try to side with Malcolm Stewart the next time there's an aggressive pass that maybe Malcolm Stewart does on somebody else like he's already done this year. And then maybe they'll side with Malcolm Stewart more. Do you see what I'm getting at here? I mean, maybe I am thinking a little bit too deep into it, but all I'm going to say is this isn't the first time this has happened just in this 1 year, okay? So you just have to remember that type of shit, With these tight Supercross tracks, I mean, there is something to be said about how the dude that is being passed gets passed. You know what I'm saying? It's like what he does when he's getting passed aggressively. There's a lot of people that could cut down to the furthest inside line. But what I will say is Malcolm Stewart did pass Barcia clean totally clean, basically no contact in that corner before. But if Barcia would have took that furthest inside line, you know, Malcolm Stewart couldn't have done that. So, do you see what I'm saying here? I think there's a certain element of it works both ways. It's almost like you can't just look at it in the sense of the guy that's in the front can just do absolutely whatever the absolute fuck he wants to, no matter what the hell, over the entire track, no matter who's trying to pass him or whatever, right? I think there is some of the blame that can be put on that. But Justin Barcia is Bam Bam for a reason, you know? And it just, that's what it is, bro. Like, I can also totally see the majority side of, damn, Barcia doing it again out here, you know? Barcia just doing it again out here. I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. It's the track designs, it's the tightness in the corners, it's the speed and acceleration of the bikes, it's the way Malcolm Stewart cuts down in the corners. You know, I think it's Justin Barcia being way too aggressive. I think it's just all of those things, and then it sort of turns into that thing, right? I think there is a big element of that. But anyways, definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this situation. Pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't think Barcia is going to change his ways. I mean, he pretty much said that on the podium, like, this is me, you know? And he kind of had this weird, like weird, this is me and I've always been like this, and sort of like a smirk, like a weird little smirk, like, y'all should have known this, right? Even though I was trying to tell you boys like 2 years ago, I was trying to change my image and try to be more of a clean rider, but you guys should have known, right? What the fuck was all that about? I don't even know, bro. I'm just saying my Barcia fan level last night definitely went down a couple ticks. You know what I'm saying? My Barcia fanness definitely went down a couple notches. That was just a weird, like, direct middle fingers up to a certain element of his fan base, I feel like some of his fan base that was a Barcia fan, but like could still disagree with a bunch of the things that he does on the track. You know what I'm saying? Like, those sort of dudes, I feel like, are just totally gone at this point. Like, they're just not a Barcia fan anymore after last night. So, I don't know, bro. Rubbing's racing. I get it, you know. Malcolm Stewart did cut down just like he did in the Anderson situation, but all three of, you know, and Malcolm Stewart's not a saint either. Some people like to try to act like, oh, well, Malcolm Stewart's never done any of this shit, but in fact he has, and just in this year he has. You know, let's not go back to Daytona, for God's sakes. Of course, everybody thinks that was some big payback, but in fact, Malcolm Stewart took out Jason Anderson even earlier than that, I think in the very first round, so it goes back even further than that, right? There's a lot of, like, drama layers and stages to this, but too aggressive. It wasn't even, you know, for the lead. It wasn't towards the end of the race. I mean, it you know, all these check marks of, like, okay, it was Barcia's fault, that was bullshit, right? But, you know, Jeff Emmig's saying is, as long as both riders don't go down, then it wasn't too dirty. But Jeff Emmig says, you know, if somebody runs into somebody and they both go down, then that takeout was too dirty. Well, in this situation, Barcia never even went down. He never even hit the ground. He basically just bumper carred off of Malcolm Stewart. Malcolm Stewart took all the impact, and Barcia just kind of bounced off of him and stayed straight up on the bike, right? So, boy, that's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of like, you know, and I feel like a lot of the fans agreed with Jeff Emmig with that sort of statement, but you can't help but ask about, what about this situation, though? You know what I'm saying? And I understand it's not a foolproof thing, but boy, it's interesting the times where the guys can take somebody out like that and they don't even crash. But it's like basically a full-blown T-bone, right? So, I don't know. Interesting. And just so fucking similar to the crash where Jason Anderson sort of jumped up the inside and I think that actually was for the lead. I'm pretty sure, if I can remember properly back to that. So it was a little bit of a different situation. It was for the lead of the main event, but it was kind of the same thing. It was almost like a weird T-bone out of nowhere sort of kind of crash like that. Just an interesting thought. Just an interesting thought. And I hope you guys understand I'm not trying to defend Barcia here. It's more of just a situation of, I'm trying to take into account all of these different situations all three of these dudes have went through earlier in the season and just trying to kind of piece it together. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really think I've come up with a foolproof solution or a foolproof like, well, this guy was totally in the wrong or this guy was whatever, but it's like, I certainly think there is different ways of looking at this situation, whereas I feel like a lot of fans and a lot of people, and especially in the moment, they just look at it very one-dimensionally. You know what I'm saying? They look at it in a very one mindset kind of way, and all I'm going to say is there's other ways of looking at it, right? But obviously Barcia has been the takeout man since day one. I guess he's going to continue to be that way, but I don't know how he's going to manage to continue to race like that if he's going to get docked all those points. He got docked 10 points, so that's basically like 10 positions that far back, right? If you're off the podium, I think it's like 1 point per position or something like that. So, and we know Barcia's not really ever finishing on the podium, especially not late in the season. He seems to come out swinging Anaheim 1, and then that's about it. So I don't know what the future is here for the old Barcia boy, but I do think AMA is getting a lot softer, and I don't think that's playing into Barcia's hands at all. So interesting what we might see here in the future. And then Barcia just getting absolutely booed out of the stands. I mean, damn, dude, damn, dog.